right, welcome back to another episode of TalkBall Tweakers podcast. I'm your host, Blake McQuarrie, with my co-host, Toussaint Fancher, Jake Mazarski. Boys, how are we feeling?
We feel good. I worn down because of everything that's going on. Us three young guns in the sports world have had a lot to deal with, but it's part of the job. It's been fun. Excited to be back with the fellas over here.
Yeah,
So can't complain. Soon enough, we'll be back in person.
yeah.
Yeah, crazy, crazy last 48 hours in Michigan. Um, they're saying lots of things on social media. State has erupted. Local news I mean, the story was on CNN. I'm like, this is nuts. Yeah, no one could have seen this coming down the pipeline, especially at this time, but lots of good stuff to talk about for sports journalists. So, whenever there's good news, it's a good day.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get right into it. So before we do that, let's talk
Talk ball.
ball. All
And
right,
handcuffs.
all
Sorry,
right.
what?
So nice joke, Jake.
Thanks.
Oh
Thanks.
boy.
So
Thanks. I'm here for the next hour, everyone. Thanks so much.
obviously, everybody, I feel like honestly, if you aren't even in the sports world, you know what's going on in Ann Arbor, Michigan right now, just because of how crazy things have gotten over the past 24 hours. Really 48 hours, honestly. Um, Sherrone Moore fired after an investigation into him having a relationship with a staffer, an unacceptable relationship with a staffer. Um, we're going to start with obviously the news that broke today. Not really broke, but obviously his arrangement was today in court at 1 o'clock, so about literally 40 minutes ago from the time we are recording. And he has been charged with the following: home invasion in the third degree, stalking and breaking and entering, or entering without breaking. So those three things, home invasion in the third degree, that is, I'm going to read the terms of each one. So home invasion in the third degree for allegedly unlawfully entering the victim's residence to commit the crime of stalking and committing that crime while in the residence. Home invasion in the third degree is a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a $2,000 fine. Stalking is for allegedly engaging in a willful course of conduct involving repeated or continuing harassment of the victim. Stalking is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail and a $1,000 fine. And breaking and entering or entering without breaking for allegedly unlawfully entering the dwelling of a victim with whom Mr. Moore had a dating relationship. A violation of this statute is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a $500 fine. So, those are the three charges that he is facing after his arraignment today. Um, I mean, yeah, thoughts?
Yeah. So look, I could have a field day with this, and I probably will. Blake Lunga and I got into a heated argument. Toussaint didn't care enough to, and that was probably the smartest move. And the first thing I want to say is no matter what I say on any of my channels, mental health is the first thing. And we at TalkBall Tweakers, and not only TalkBall Tweakers, but us as three people, hope everyone gets the help they need, is okay in this situation, and the negative impact could be as minimal as possible, right? Um, my story about it, yeah, thoughts. Oh my goodness. So I heard a week ago from a source that the Michigan job was going to open. And I obviously wasn't going to rush that because I have had consequences in the past of leaking information, especially incomplete information. Also, who was going to believe someone from the sporting news? And it seems like it wasn't a well kept secret, right? And so you fast forward to Wednesday when all this stuff happened. And I'm in a small office here. Our office is like 12 people, and all the people went to go get drinks at like 5 o'clock. I didn't get off till 6:30. I was going to get drinks anyway, but then I see Sherrone got fired. And I'm just like, holy crap, like this is happening. This is true. People are right. And then I sort of let it sit for a little. I do a little of the updates, start making the files about him getting fired. And then I log off because, yeah, I was done with my shift. Then I start working out and I see I got arrested. And that's when stuff really started hitting the fan. Yeah, no, it's just crazy. Like, no matter what side you're on, and I don't think there's a lot of sides to be on in this. Like, I think everybody could agree, like, this is it's just absolutely insane. Like,
Yeah.
it's not only a head coach doing this. A head coach doing this would be enough of a story. It's the head coach at the University of Michigan, which, regardless of your stance on Michigan, they are a top five, top 10 job in college football with the biggest fan base in America, arguably, and the biggest stadium in America, and the biggest brand. And so yeah, the fall from grace for him, like I hope he gets the help he needs. And from us as just like reporters, journalists, content creators, whatever you want to call it, covering it, it's like nothing we've ever seen before. So I think that's a good way for me to start us off.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so yeah, I'm glad you brought up the obviously the bringing it. I didn't get into all of that, but yeah, the time frame of everything. If you don't know, basically the reports come out that he got fired, and then reports come out that he was detained by Pittsfield Township Police in Michigan, after um, uh, I don't know what I think they called it a domestic situation.
Alleged assault, that was it. And now it's
Alleged
domestic.
assault. Yeah, alleged assault was the original report. Um, so yeah, I mean it's an insane situation. I think I want to first obviously reiterate what you had said. Mental health is serious, and we obviously as a country need to take that very seriously. So I hope everybody involved in the situation is getting the help that they need, because that is ultimately first what's most important. Um, with that being said, um, yeah, I mean, I can't. I think you said it best, Jake, is obviously a head coach doing it is unacceptable, but you are at the University of Michigan, and you do something like that. Like that is insane. It's truly a sad situation. It really is. And so I feel for everybody involved with it. Um, and yeah, I think when we were talking about it on Wednesday, what was it, Wednesday?
Yeah.
We are texting in our group chat about it. Um, I think at first where I where I was frustrated about everything that was going on Wednesday on like Twitter and social media and things like that was all of the reports that people were coming out with and all of the hearsay and things that they heard or things that have been brewing for weeks. That was my issue with everything. I'm going to get this out of the way. What Sherrone Moore did is completely unacceptable. Um, Absolutely unacceptable on any level. You just don't do that. You don't. And now, with that being said, though, the people who were talking about this has been brewing for weeks, or oh, Michigan timed this perfectly to where it's 2 days after signing day, and now he's getting fired. They've known about this for weeks. Um, th Why would Michigan hold on to something like this after signing day? Why would if there is anything you would want to I understand the topic of you don't want people to be scared away and things like that. You don't want your recruits to leave or whatever the case may be. They have a 15-day window. If your coach gets fired, they have a 15-day window to leave. So no matter you do it before signing day or after signing day, whoever wants to leave, they're going to leave. They are going to leave. So it would have been obviously in their best interest to do it beforehand. But my thing was I've known this. I have believed this since the reports came out. Michigan did not know about this until Wednesday when it happened. There were reports that had came out also that evidence appeared Wednesday morning that led to them firing Coach Moore. Now, everybody talking about them not announcing the investigation, whatever the case may be. No internal investigation in a program gets announced until it is fully concluded. So they clearly didn't fully conclude the investigation before signing day. It wasn't concluded before they played Ohio State. None of this was concluded during the season. Um, and that was where I was frustrated on the things was it and my main thing was if you If it's really true that you know that they concluded this investigation before Ohio State or midway through the year or whatever the case may be, then report it. Say it. Don't sit here and say, "Oh, there has been rumors that Sherrone Moore is going to get fired all year long." Don't sit here and say that and then go and touch on it's very interesting that the timing was just 2 days after signing day. That's where I was frustrated with the whole thing about it was because now you're actually spewing inaccurate information and incorrect information. So that's where my thing was. That's where I sit on it, and everything that had dealt with the reports and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I hold that same sentiment with you in terms of the rumors. Before getting to that, I will say that, what you both said in terms of mental health is very, very important. There are rumors that they knew he was dealing with stuff mentally and that, I think they handled it poorly in the sense of when you're trying to handle that, it's very important to understand what someone is going through or where their emotions are at before you just cast somebody out. And I know what he said, what he did is absolutely wrong, like you said, should not engage in a relationship with a staffer, especially if you're the boss. And that is the policy. Two things that he definitely should have known not to do. Um, and in terms of how it was handled, it's so sad because it went so south. And this is easily one of the top five biggest scandals in sports history. Like I don't think I've ever heard something go from a firing of this nature because we've seen coaches be fired for different things. Gruden got fired because of emails and a bunch of different coaches have gotten fired for having relations with staffers before. A lot of people have been in the news and there have been rumors. But for it to get to this point, just a poor lack of awareness, I think it was from Moore. Whether it was be that he had pressure on him and he was doing something to try and alleviate the pressure. I'm not going to sit here and kick him while he's down. Um, but, and I want to take this in another direction just because you guys haven't touched on it yet. The one thing that I was somewhat disappointed, and I have been disappointed with Sherrone Moore in, is the racial element in this. If you are a black coach, we know that you cannot play by the same rules as everybody else. It's just facts, right? You can't go up there and decide to do the same thing as everyone else and act like I'm in the same ball game. You are a representation because there are so few black coaches that are in college football, they're in pro sports. And you
Especially
have
in this situation, right?
and like you said, he got the keys to a kingdom. Like this is top five greatest coaching jobs to have in college football. Top five. Like they're thinking about going and grabbing Kalen DeBoer now, and he's in Alabama. So it's
Mhm.
like you get guys like Larry Ellison who are giving you money for NIL. You get rich alum who are giving you money and support, and you threw it all away because you had this inappropriate relationship. And he has said this in a previous interview where they asked him about race, right? And it's okay. I understand that if maybe, you're a black man and you're like, well, I don't really like it's not in my sort of viewpoint, but you have to give a response that kind of, goes to that. You have to say, as a black man, I see this, I see that. You can't say, well, I don't see race. That's what he said in the interview. He's like, I don't see race. You have to have the understanding and the mental awareness that you don't play the same ball game. I'm not going to point fingers. But Lane Kiffin has had a bunch of different scandals, and yet he still stands. He gets whatever job he wants. And part of it is because he wins, of course, right? But he plays a different ball game than Sherrone Moore. You can't go around, being reckless. This was reckless.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say, like I said, I'm not gonna kick him while he's down because he's in the lowest of places right now. But you can't play this game and act like I'm gonna play it like everybody else. You know what I mean? You have to be on your P's and Q's. You have to understand where you're at. Jim Harbaugh left and gave you everything. I mean, every single coach in America would die for that job. I mean, they would die for the Michigan job. And for him to not have the awareness, like I got to be on my P's and Q's. This isn't just about winning and losing, right? 9-3 is a good record, but they weren't going to fire you for that, right? And so for you to go from interim head coach when we had Jim Harbaugh and the OC and the play caller of a national championship to now in the Washtenaw County jail because you crashed out all the way. You know, it's one thing if you get fired. You can rebound from that. You can rebound from getting fired. If there are coaches that have had scandals that have came back maybe years later, he could join. He might have to work himself back up to the top, but you can rebound from that. You can't rebound from getting fired and crashing out and going to jail. And they might give you time. So you're gonna have to serve time, and you're never gonna be in another coach's room ever. No one ever is going to hire you again. And I just feel so bad for him because poor choices just lead. And this is one of these things where like if you make a decision like this, it's not going to be hidden. Like an inappropriate relationship with a staffer is never going to be hidden. Someone's going to see you. Someone's going to know. I mean, and this is speculation. This is what was on the internet. I'm not saying this is what happened now, okay? I want to be very clear to everyone watching. They said that a DoorDash driver alerted Michigan that he was ordering Plan B. You don't think that that's going to be like, come on.
I don't know how true that is, but
I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
true,
no,
but I'm saying
if it
stuff.
is,
If it is stuff like that is stupid. That's stupid. I'm not
yeah,
saying that's what happened,
or
but
the
if
salary double
the
too.
salary, we didn't even talk about that. He gave her a 55% increase. She went
yeah,
from
the
fifty
salary thing was
thousand to $90,000 a year.
salary thing was incredible. The salary thing's crazy. And on top of the report that came out, what was that last night or this morning that he had gave her hush money,
Yeah,
not say anything about obviously the relationship. Um, but yeah, I mean the Plan B thing, I don't know how true it is. I think I mean obviously ultimately what led to it was in the arrangement today, a prosecutor had said that they had a relationship for numerous of years and uh she broke it off, I think, on early this week or over the weekend or whatever the case may be. And and then she presented herself to the university and the football program and basically had told them about the relationship, which led to the firing.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, but no, I think you hit on it great, Toussaint. Was like it is. It's one thing to have an appropriate relationship with a staffer and you get fired for that. Like that's you on that level, you're throwing away your opportunity. But then you go and you break into her home and you grab weapons and threaten to kill yourself and threaten to kill her. And I mean, the prosecutor said, quote, "My blood is on your hands. You ruined my life." That's what he said to her. Like that is that now you're throwing your life away. You're
yeah,
throwing your life away. And I mean, obviously opened up with it. Mental health is a thing, and obviously he wasn't there mentally, but it's like it's just I don't know. It's just unfortunate to for that to be the reaction to it because I think yeah, it's one thing to obviously do have the relationship and that be inappropriate and get fired for it, but then it's another thing to go and do something that is illegally against the law.
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I think both of you put that really well. I honestly think you put it better than I thought you guys were, in full honesty. I like the race point, but I'm not going to touch on that fully because I don't think I'm in the place to. But what I am going to do is pod. I went to the University of Michigan for a year, and this doesn't separate me from anyone going about the issue or having a take on the issue, whether you're a Michigan fan or a journalist or a college football fan, whatever you are. But I got the opportunity to meet Sherrone Moore once during their season where Joe Milton was the quarterback, 2-4. Not a lot of people were, that was COVID. You weren't allowed in the stadium. But what I used to do at Michigan, Blake and Toussaint know I'm really into mental health and being alone sometimes. And I used to walk to the stadium, and that's sort of where I would, it's the equivalent of meditating for an ADHD kid, right? And I got to meet Coach Sherrone Moore there once just walking there, and he's just like, "What are you doing?" I'm just like, "I'm chilling." And he goes like, "There's no better place to be than here." And like I saved it for here because like him saying that stuck with me, and I've been lucky enough to have a lot of people. So Blake and Toussaint, like a lot of these big figures, like we get to interact with them on the daily. Like one I remember from Toussaint was Tommy Lloyd seeking him out in the presser to answer a question, and like Blake got to go to the Super Bowl. We get to do this stuff, and the more thing stands out to me because like he said there's no better place you'd want to be than here. And Jim Harbaugh always says, who's got it better than us? And so, once again, this mental health aspect that we could talk about for ages, but we are a sports podcast. We want to make it clear like he had it all, and that the way they went about it is terrible. And again, we hope everybody gets the power they need. And I'm not going to draw a comparison to it, but I am going to say the Mel Tucker thing too. And I think Michigan did a good job with the letter they sent to the community yesterday saying zero tolerance, right? He needs to be out. Everyone come forward with information because that's what Michigan State did when Mel Tucker got fired. And we know how that went. And I think a lot of the rumor stuff, especially for a school like the University of Michigan and respectfully a fan base like Michigan has, right? People are going to look for ways to, I was going to use the word insult. I don't like insult, but almost rage bait you guys, right? And so when you look at these rumors, there are very easy ways to do that. And I am going to stay away from them in terms of the football aspect and the athletic aspect, right? And Blake spoke about it, about the investigation not being finalized and all that. And yeah, no, I like the way you put it, especially because so much of it's rumors. If Michigan did have like reasonable enough grounds to fire him before signing day, before Ohio State, and the rumor, again, if true, let me preface the rumor, if true, that they were sort of waiting for a football related reason to fire him to sort of cover it up, that is where you have to go. Gosh, that's up there with the big scandals in college football. But I don't want to rush to those assumptions yet because, again, a lot of this is rumors. And like you said, these players still have full control. You're seeing some signees go. Again, the way I'm going to piss you guys off right now, I want Bryce Underwood to go to LSU. I think that would be sick.
I
Um,
mean, at this point, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
yeah, you want to rule it out, right?
I'm
Especially,
actually expecting for him to. I mean, I
especially
think
because
obviously he's waiting to see who they hire, which we'll talk about in a second. But I wouldn't be surprised if I'm actually expecting for him to put his name in the portal.
exactly. Especially this is insane for an 18-year-old. He doesn't have a buyout at Michigan, which is crazy. He already has his money. The one other thing that I wanted to say on this issue, and again, this is not to target you guys because I know you're both Michigan fans, and I actually think you make the good 1% of Michigan fans. Um, I
Um,
do think this conception of the Michigan man needs to be either dropped away with or left in the past. And I'm not saying that because of the way things like are gone about in the fan base, because like from the outside, Michigan absolutely deserves to be one of the best fan bases in sports, and you need to recognize that. I mean, the winning, the amount you care, the big house is a stadium, right? It just, again, this is not the fault of the fan base, but the school and the athletic department with the Jim Harbaugh stuff and Juwan Howard punching the coach. And now Sherrone Moore, the hockey player with the hate crime. I think this idea of the Michigan man and the idea of being morally high, which one again, I'm not saying you guys are doing. It's more like the Dave Portnoy's and even Adam Schefter annoyed me yesterday with the we didn't get Sherrone Moore's side of this, right? I think that needs to be left in the past. I think the Jim Harbaugh stuff needs to be left in the past, even though we won a championship because of the show cause. And we're allowed to go, Harbaugh was a great coach. But the scandals and all that, I think Michigan really needs to, and you guys will agree with me on this. I could crap on Michigan all I want. Turn the page to as fresh as it can be. Because especially in the Big Ten from a football aspect, where is Michigan right now? They're behind Ohio State, they're behind Indiana, they're behind Oregon, in my opinion. Those three guys are three of the best coaches in college football. And now at Michigan, you go on this hard search, and they should get a really good guy, right? Michigan's an amazing job. Fresh page immediately. Fresh page. And I'm excited to see it. I'm really excited to see it. And I'm sure you guys are too, even though this is an unfortunate situation that came to fruition. Like, we spoke about this before any of us knew about this stuff happening. I'm not going to speak for Blake and Toussaint here, but I am. Neither of them love Sherrone Moore too much. So, um, Yeah, I'm sorry. I sort of just ranted there. I just think the Michigan man thing needs to be ditched, and I'm not saying you guys are part of that because you're actually not. You're very far from it. But I think that's going to be really helpful for the school in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's a good segment way into who is the next head coach going to be at the University of Michigan.
I'll
Uh,
let you guys go first. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I mean, so the few names that have been thrown out there, I mean, obviously it's going to, whoever it gets hired, it's going to be probably a pretty big name. Um, I think you absolutely said it right, though. It needs to be fresh page. Like, there needs to be sit downs on sit downs on sit downs with whoever the guy is, and you make sure that he ain't gonna pull no
Yeah,
tomfoolery.
this whole staff is getting wiped.
I mean,
Everybody's
this
getting
is
wiped.
this is ultimately a make or break hire for Michigan right now. Whoever the next guy is, it ultimately is a make or break situation here. You can either pick right back up where, things were left off with this program and what this athletic department has done, history wise, and how great it is. Um, or you can throw it all away with this next hire. That's ultimately what it is. So I think obviously I don't think it's going to be quick. I don't think it's going to be a quick search. I don't think um, it's going to happen within the next couple of weeks. Obviously, with how the transfer portal window is, you would love for that to happen, but I think unfortunately with the things that have happened and what we have just discussed, it's not going to be a quick search. So without further ado, obviously the names. Kalen DeBoer is obviously the biggest name that's being thrown out with this opportunity. I think yes, Kalen DeBoer would love to coach the University of Michigan. He is a former Eastern Michigan assistant coach. Knows Michigan very well, knows that area very well. So obviously, I mean, like Kalen DeBoer would love to coach the Wolverines. In his situation right now, I don't think Kalen DeBoer is going to be the next head coach at Michigan. I think obviously there has been some, back and forth love between Kalen DeBoer and Alabama fans and that fan base, but you cannot knock the good job that Kalen DeBoer has done at Alabama so far. They're in the playoff. I mean, they are in the playoff. I don't see Kalen DeBoer leaving Alabama, who is in the playoff right now currently, to go and coach for Michigan. Obviously, if this were to happen after while he was still at Washington, he would go and coach Michigan. That would be their next hire. I firmly believe it. But I think Kalen DeBoer stays at Alabama. I don't think he takes this job. Um, I mean, obviously, though, you have to pick that phone up if you're Michigan and call. You got to make them say no. Absolutely do. Um, but I think he like everyone wants obvious like and Nick Saban's shoes are very hard to fill at Alabama. And you're not gonna get that right away immediately. So um obviously, yes, there has been, some issues and it hasn't been perfect, but it hasn't been bad.
Yeah.
So I don't think Kalen DeBoer is it. To me, I think ultimately Jed Fish might be the best option. I think Jed Fish or Kenny Dillingham is the best option here. Um, I think Jed Fish is an absolutely great coach. I think he is. I mean, there have been people talk about Jed Fish all the time on his coaching staff of how great of a person he is. There have been coaches on his staff that have had opportunities to leave and they haven't because of how great of a coach he is and great of a person Jed Fish is. Jed Fish obviously has been at Michigan before. So I think that is obviously a grand slam hire for Michigan if they were to go that route. I think Kenny Dillingham um, would also be the perfect hire for Michigan. He's a young guy, great recruiter. He's a has a great Kenny Dillingham is a great motivator, culture guy as well. The things he has done at Arizona State has been amazing. They were in the playoff last year, gave Texas a fucking run. So I think to me, those two names are the best options for Michigan here.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep my
Unless you can try and somehow get Nick Saban out of retirement, which I don't think anybody is going to be able to do
He's
that.
not going to
yeah,
Michigan.
yeah, you could reach for the stars there.
I mean, you
I
got to try
you
though.
got yeah, why not?
That,
You got to
that's
try. I
that's the
mean,
situation that you're in. That would be my first call is Nick Saban, and then Kalen DeBoer, and then you
What could
move.
you even offer Nick Saban though?
I mean,
Uh,
you would have to. You're Michigan. You would have to offer
You
them.
would you would have to get a GM for him because he hates NIL. So you would have
yeah,
to
he
get a GM
despises
for
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah. And I mean he does I mean you technically have one of the biggest budgets because of Larry Ellison, so
I also think if Nick Saban was going to come out of retirement to go to Michigan, he'd need a new athletic director
yeah.
because
oh,
he
for
wants
sure.
to stay away from all that stuff.
Yeah,
I agree with all of the DeBoer stuff. I think when I talk about top jobs in college football, Alabama is higher than Michigan, but they're pretty comparable, right? You're right about the Nick Saban point and the shadow of Nick Saban, Bear Bryant too, if people remember him, obviously. That's a very hard thing to measure. Kalen DeBoer, I think, has actually done a good job at Alabama, but the one reason I can't see him going to Michigan is the same reason why Alabama fans have their reasons of criticism. The teams don't look smash mouth. They don't look like they're going to run in your face. And that is more of a thing at Michigan than it is Alabama.
yeah,
Every Michigan team that I've watched, I've been like, this team is great. They are going to run it down your fucking throat, right? And Jed Fish, I'm not going to reiterate everything you said. I'm just going to add on one more point. Apparently, his wife hates Seattle, so get her out, get him out. One other I want to throw out there. I love Kenny too. I've had the opportunity to talk to Kenny in the past. He's a great guy. He's hungry as a motivator. He's really everything Michigan needs too. Um, I don't know why more people are talking about this. Maybe because he's about to go on a playoff run. I think they should throw a lot of money at Mike Bobo from Georgia. I think Mike Bobo should get a head coaching job somewhere. He's up for the Award as the best assistant head coach in the country. And I think when you look at a comparison about Georgia's offense and how it could turn into Michigan's offense, especially in this final month. And look, I talk about Georgia all the time. They run it through your throat. They run in between the tackles. They have big backs that will either take off for a lot of speed or smash mouth you. And it's not one guy doing it, right? You look at Georgia, it's Nate Frazier, Chauncey Bowens, Josh McCray. And I think that offense and that vertical spread offense that Georgia has, and we argued about this on Monday, right? About Gunnar Stockton and how good he is because the weapons he has. Michigan, you absolutely have the opportunity to get all those weapons and recreate that offense. And that is the perfect thing for Michigan. And if Bryce Underwood decides to stay, it's a guy that can stretch the field vertically and they'll get a quarterback regardless. Like, again, Michigan fans, like, if Bryce Underwood leaves, you're still going to get a quarterback. Playing quarterback at the University of Michigan is one of the best jobs in college football, too. I think Mike Bobo would be an awesome hire. Again, I don't know how feasible it would be, but I think that would be so awesome for them.
for sure.
Yeah, my bad. I said I was going to keep it short and I didn't keep it short.
No, I like the Bobo one. Obviously, Georgia's offense is elite and always is elite, and him at the helm wouldn't be bad. The Jetfish one I really like. Like you said, he has some standing in Michigan and knows people. Um, Turned around Arizona. You know, they were terrible. They were a basketball school, and then they were good, and then they left and they were back to being terrible. So it shows just how good. And Washington was they weren't as bad as people might think they were this season. They were really good with Damon Williams, who's like a Kyler Murray variant. For them to go into the Big Ten, which is obviously P4, and do what they did. I felt like so. Here's what I felt like with this coaching hire. I felt as is obviously Biff Poggi is going to be the interim. Um, I feel like it would be irresponsible to rush somebody this year, especially with all the coaching hires being filled already, the big ones, right? I just felt like, and everybody was also extended. Like everybody who didn't want their coach to leave extended their coach or the coach left already. And I felt like even though there are some good opportunities and there are some good coaches, I felt like it was kind of irresponsible, at least now, to do it. And I know people are saying, well, you got to keep the players, you want to keep Bryce Underwood, you want to keep certain people, maybe it's just time for a fresh wipe. I'm not saying let Bryce walk. I'm not saying like let Bryce just go and, go to LSU. But I am saying that maybe it could be a second mistake. Because I think the first and you said it, Jake, I didn't think Sherrone Moore was the best hire. I thought they should have already went with the big name. I mean, you got Jim Harbaugh leaving and you got the whole weight of the NCAA on your back, and you're gonna put the guy who was in the position to call plays, who was the interim coach for the guy that left because the NCAA was on his back. I felt like that was irresponsible. I didn't like I wasn't like, oh, Sherrone Moore is gonna drive Michigan to the ground. I just felt like you could have went and got a bigger name and refreshed the university already. And if that had happened, we wouldn't be here, right? We wouldn't be here. Sherrone Moore would be someone else, somewhere else. We wouldn't be having this issue now. So I feel like it was irresponsible to do that because Michigan was a big school and because of the NCAA coming down on Michigan's back. I feel as if not call this season a wash, but I would say, and maybe this is the wrong choice, and maybe I'm just, throwing food for thought out there that's just bad. Um, but unless you're getting a home run hire, like Jetfish is answering all the right questions, Bobo is like the offense looks great, and they're doing everything on the whiteboard, and they're what they're saying is like resonating with what your plans are, and everything is lining up. I say if you're like not 100% about any of the potential hires, you say, okay, we're gonna let Biff run it for a season, and then we're gonna make a decision. Because I also think a lot of the coaches who agreed to extension hires, or excuse me, agreed to extensions, are able to be hired next season if they feel like, let's say, for example, I'm not saying that Clark Lay, like let's say Clark Lay, Diego Pavia is out, right? He's too old. Let's say they bring in a 5 star and they are in the same spot this year as they were last year, or maybe even better. Then it's like, okay, well, maybe he's good, or somebody else. I'm just saying, I feel like it's somewhat irresponsible to rush to something because I feel like they're gonna look at it and be like, they have a 15-day window. If Bryce Underwood leaves within that 15-day window, we have nothing. So they're gonna rush to hire somebody, and it's gonna fall through, and it's gonna blow up in Ward Manuel's face. I just feel like I say run it with Biff, and I know that might not be the right answer in terms of who you're hiring, but I say don't be irresponsible and hire somebody and give them a 5-year contract, and then you're like, well, this guy might not be the guy. But I do like if you were asking me, out of all the people to hire, I think Jed Fish is the one. I think with a great NIL. I think with the support behind him, I think with the familiarity of the area, I think with a fresh start with his family, he could be the right guy. But I think with this, you have to like Jake said, you have to hit it out the park. You can't go from national championship scandal, then another separate scandal from a guy who was already on that staff, and you're murking the waters, and then getting the wrong guy for the next 2 to 3 years. Because let's remember, just this is the last thing I'll say. Let's remember, Michigan was going to fire Harbaugh halfway through because he was losing. It was only because they won. Was it against Rutgers? Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
it
was
was the
against.
Rutgers game that year.
It was Rutgers. Was that 2020?
2020. They came back from down 17 nothing to win in triple overtime.
2020 triple overtime to Rutgers saved his job. And before
Yeah.
that, it was Brady Hoke. Like
Do you guys remember which quarterback came in during that Rutgers game and saved the season? Or not the season, the game?
Shea Patterson? No, that's
Now,
before.
later. Think about your first playoff appearance to give it away.
Wait, our first playoff
Your
appearance?
first playoff appearance. Yeah.
Trying to remember Michigan
The first time you
quarterbacks.
guys beat Ohio State this decade. Who was your quarterback?
Oh, McNamara?
Oh,
Yeah, Cade came
yeah.
in that game.
McNamara.
Yeah, Cade came
Eastern
in that.
Tennessee State University legend.
Yep, came in that game. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I just feel like if you murky the waters again, it's like, what's going on here? Like, this is a top job. You can't miss on coaches at a top job. You know what I mean? Um,
Exactly.
so
Yeah,
I
the one
just
other thing I wanted to say on it, not to cut you off, Toussaint, is like really emphasizing the fresh page. And I think you guys are doing that because, again, I don't want to act like this is as big as like the scandal in Happy Valley or even some of the other ones there. But sports fans are sports fans, and people in sports will always remember stuff like this happening. And the best way to get rid of something like this happening, especially at a school like Michigan, is completely getting rid of it, not throwing it in the trash because it's obviously going to be remembered, but taking it the next step. And I think you guys are getting to that and like not rushing to hire. Like I honestly, I expect them to maybe not rush, but I expect them to have a head coach in place by like mid-January. But it's got to be the right guy, like you said. It's got to be the right guy. And by the way, I'm giving the most respect to Biff Poggi too for taking this team. He has one of the hardest jobs in the world right now, getting this team ready for Texas because you can't imagine what's going on in that locker room, in that facility, in that town. And being a player at the University of Michigan, like I said, it's like being a player at Alabama, at Clemson, at LSU. And it comes with a lot of weight. And again, this is not something that they could have controlled, obviously. And now you have to deal with it on the national forefront. And that's going to be the main story getting talked about when they face off against a very good Texas team. And this could have been similar to last year, right? Too, when you guys beat Ohio State and Alabama to end the year. And you go into 2025 with a positive note. But it feels like even if they beat Texas, that's going to be over the program a little. And so just emphasizing the fresh page again. I just wanted to. Okay, so now let's get into NFL Week 15. We're not going to dive into the games too much, but we're just going to go pretty much what the biggest deal is because we got some big games this week. I mean, obviously, the New York Jets traveling down to Jacksonville, Florida to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ryan Phillip, go fuck yourself. No, I'm joking. The Lions with a huge game, obviously, against the Los Angeles Rams. Before we get into predictions, though, what do you guys think is the big or a big storyline that you're interested to follow as we enter the final month of the season? And if
Oof.
you need to think, I could come up with one first. Mine is I already know, so I'll just go with it. I want to see if Drake May and the New England Patriots can get to the Super Bowl and are for real. And if they are for real, I'm gonna hate Boston forever because they suffered for 4 years, 3 years actually, before getting and Drake May is going to have it tough, starting with Sunday when Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills go to Foxborough. I think the line on that is flat out disrespectful towards New England. They're getting like 2.5 points now. This is a team. Gosh, I could just stop it there. This is a team. All 53 guys are damn good. And I think when it looks at the AFC and where the Patriots are, or even the Denver Broncos, those two are at the top. And then the 3 seed right now is the AFC South winner. So that's either the Jacksonville Jaguars, Houston Texans, and Indianapolis Colts. And with Josh Allen in a wild card spot right now, with Lamar Jackson not in the playoffs, he could still get there maybe. Patrick Mahomes almost not in the playoffs, definitely. These young guys all have an opportunity to take their guys on a run. And I do think the NFC is a better conference. I do. But for these young signal callers, like I'll even expand it to the AFC South ones, like Drake May, Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, even the youngest of them all, Philip Rivers. Like these guys all have an opportunity to take their teams on a run to San Francisco. And look, you guys know what I say every time we go on this podcast. All roads in the AFC will lead through Pat, and I'll pick the Chiefs until I see them actually lose. Well, now I'm not going to see them in the playoffs. And these guys have opportunities, and it gets like I don't want to say a lot more fun because Patrick Mahomes is a lot of fun. A lot more interesting is the word I want to use.
For sure.
Yeah.
Um, I think mine would be um, mine is how in the hell are the two teams that we seen in last year's Super Bowl going to respond and finish the year out? Um, Obviously, the Chiefs right now currently are looking at being in Cancun. So that's obviously number one is how do the Chiefs turn this around for the next four? Um, I mean, they have a tough game this week with the Chargers. And then net the following week they have Tennessee, which don't really got to worry about. But after that, you get Denver, which you lost to already this year on a field goal. You end the year out with Las Vegas. So there's two games that are throwaways right there. You should win, but you have to win. I mean, ultimately, if you're Kansas City, you got to win both of the Chargers Denver game.
Yeah.
So how do you respond? I think that's going to be most interesting to me. Sorry, my damn light is falling over here. And then if you want to go more internally, it's how is Patrick Mahomes going to respond? He played terrible last week. Terrible. He's on my fantasy team. I know. He played terrible. He played absolutely terrible. Three interceptions, like threw 115 yards, like just not good.
Yeah.
Um, so it's going to be real interesting because, Kansas City hasn't faced this much adversity. Um, I mean, shit, since the dynasty started, for real. Like, if we're being totally honest. Philly's deal. I mean, Philly has looked on and off all year long. Obviously, the past, 3 weeks, they're on a three-game losing skid. So they have not looked good the past 3 weeks. Um, I mean, this week they played the Raiders, which you should win that one, like I said, with the same thing as the Chiefs. Um, but then you got to go at Washington, which is, a divisional game. And then you got to go to Buffalo. And then you end the year again with Washington. That one's in Philly. Um, so again, for Philly, you've got to win two of those. I mean, it's possible, yes, that they could, finish the year, these next four, they could finish 2-2 and still get in. Obviously, that's a real big, that could happen, but they're in the NFC. I seriously don't think I don't think a seven loss team is going to get in the playoff in the NFC.
No, especially if the Cowboys catch them, because the Cowboys have an easy schedule, like you said.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so
you have got to win. I mean, you've got to win almost three of those, really, honestly. So that's my big. Those are my biggest things. Is you know the two the two teams we've seen in the Super Bowl last year. Um, they might not even be in the playoff. So
Uh, Mine is that the Packers have been set up to win the NFC. Can they do it? They've really been set up to win the NFC. Like they have a top five defense. Offense, they have, I mean, I know they have four number three receivers, but they spread the ball well. They have Josh Jacobs. LaFleur is a good pass caller. Is a good play caller, excuse me. He's a good play caller. And they it really all hinges on love. And I said this last year, right? I said this last year. It all hinges on love. He's the X factor in the playoffs every single time. And then they obviously got Micah at the beginning of the season. The reality is, can he do it? Can he go ahead and beat the teams? The last two times in the postseason, he's thrown picks to end games, picks in situations where he shouldn't have. And the last couple of years, he's been good down the stretch, and he's gotten them into the playoffs. And then he goes up, it goes in, and the lights are too bright for him. Lights are way too bright for him. So I just want to see if he can do it again. Um, you're going to be facing top defenses once you get past the wild card. If you're not the one seed, you have to be able to play top five defenses in a top five way. Like you have to be a top five quarterback to beat top five defenses to win three straight road games. Or if you're hosting, then still you have to be able to beat defenses that are coming into your house to beat you. Um, I still feel like, he has four interceptions on the season. He should have at least like seven or eight. Like there are some picks that should have happened that haven't, that have helped him out. He's been getting kind of lucky. In the playoffs, everything heightens as we know, and you can't just throw errant balls. You can't just toss up punts. Sometimes he just throws up punts, and sometimes Christian Watson comes down with them. Sometimes he gets lucky. Um, so I just think that do I believe in him? Hell no. I'm a Lions fan. Hell no, I don't believe in him. I just so I just think he's gonna throw a pick at some
I
point in
don't
the
either.
playoffs.
So I'm with you.
Um, yeah, I just feel like he's one of those guys that just high. He's like Jameis. He has a little Jameis in him. High risk, high reward. No biscuit, no risk it. He's just gonna throw it at some point. And it's gonna be in a position where he's not supposed to, and it's gonna cost him a game.
yeah.
But if you look at the NFC, it's wide open, really.
hmm Yeah, with that, let's rapid fire these picks. Sentence as mo at most for some of the big games if you want. This is just the first one on my screen. Jets Jacksonville. Is anyone picking Brady Cook?
I'm not. Give me Jacksonville. I'm
Yeah.
not
I will
touching.
not be picking them.
I'm
Let's
not
go
touching.
Jacksonville there. The Browns go to Chicago for a game that's gonna feel like negative 10 degrees. Ken Shadur, yeah, I guess ice cold. I don't know.
Hold that wrist up, man. Hold that wrist up, man. Put it to the sky. Put
Yeah.
My
it to
wrist
the
been
sky.
cramping all week.
Yeah, give me Shadur. Give me the Browns. Put it to the sky.
Unfortunately, the Bears are gonna win. I feel like Shadur's gonna outplay Caleb, but the Bears are gonna win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're because it's the Stefanski. It's all right.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
um
hey,
I
hey! Put the over on a wildcat bullshit play at the
Bro,
goal line. Put the
yeah,
over.
it can work.
if the Bears won last week, I would have picked Cleveland in this game, but they didn't, and I'm picking Chicago. Ravens Bengals. Joe Burrow returns to Cincinnati.
Ugh,
Oof.
this is a terrible matchup.
It's an
I
awful
got
game.
Baltimore. I got Baltimore. Yeah, give me Baltimore.
Give me Cincy. Lamar has been terrible since the bye. And Harbaugh's gonna get fired after the season. So
I'm gonna go Cincy too, especially after what Joe Burrow said on Wednesday about not ha about having fun enjoying the game. I think the team is gonna be really spirited. That's the word I'm looking for. Justin Herbert takes the Chargers, who just beat Philly, to Kansas City. Can they beat the two Super Bowl teams twice in 2 weeks?
I got Kansas City. Um, I I think they'll respond well. I think also a factor is obviously the Chargers playing in Arrowhead in Kansas City. It's gonna be cold as shit. So,
Yeah,
um,
Jesus.
they've had sunshines and rainbows over in LA, and uh, I think weather might be a factor there a little bit. So give me Kansas City.
uh man, it might be raining flying pigs outside. Give me if man. I don't believe in Kansas City whatsoever. I think someone's gonna send them home eventually. I know they can go 2-2 in these last four games, but I think someone's gonna send them home. It might be a by mathematical elimination, but give me the Chargers.
I'm going to go with LA too. I think the spread on this is downright disrespectful to Jim Harbaugh's team. 5.5 feels like a lot. And I feel like I've been waiting for the Chiefs to respond and they haven't. And that's really disappointing. And honestly, it hurts me a lot. And I'm not even a Chiefs fan. I'm going to go with LA to get the huge win here. Arguably the biggest game of the weekend here for the AFC East. The Bills go to New England to play the Patriots. Will Josh Allen and the Bills close the AFC East lead to 1?
Give me Buffalo. I like Buffalo in this one. Um, they struggled obviously with New England the last time they faced off. Um, I mean, it's not a must win for Buffalo, but I mean, you'd like to win. So yeah, I think I like Buffalo in this one. New England's bound to lose one of these next few weeks. They're bound to lose about one or
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, give me Buffalo. New England got 10 straight. Some of that run has been some trash teams. What started it was the Buffalo game, but I think Josh Allen still wants to assert his dominance in that division, and he's not going to get swept.
Yeah. I am going to go with New England, and here's the reason why. I'm going to make a bold prediction, and I don't know how bold this is. I do think these teams are going to see each other in the playoffs, and I think the Bills are going to beat them in the playoffs. I think New England wins tomorrow. I think New England wins tomorrow. I think that they clinch the AFC East, and I think we start the Josh Allen arc, and I think he goes to New England in the postseason and beats them. So we'll save that to see if it happens. Next one. Jackson Dart and the New York Giants against Marcus Mariota and the Washington Commanders. Josh Feltons, come on down.
Oh, flex this the next century.
Yeah, this one will be on Cartoon Network. I'll go first. Give me the Giants. I with Jackson Dart, I want them to get a win. I also have Wandale in fantasy, so please, Wandale, please, please, please. Okay.
Is is Jaden Daniels playing this game?
No, he's out.
Yeah, give me Giants.
Yeah, Marcus Mariota has not been good all year. Give me Giants.
Just shut Jaden Daniels down. Then why are
I fully agree.
I don't know why
We
they
should have
brought him back for a game. They were 3-9. Why would you bring him back? For
shut him down?
what?
Shut
For
him down.
what?
especially with the ghost of RG3 in that place. What are you doing? But anyway, oh, we got a barn burner in Philly. Kenny Pickett and the Las Vegas Raiders go to the Super Bowl champions. Gosh, if Lungo was on this, I know what he would do, Pod. He's a huge Kenny Pickett guy. Are any of us picking the Raiders?
No,
No.
give me the Eagles.
Okay,
Give
good.
me the Eagles. I have the Eagles defense in fantasy. It's round one of the playoffs. I need them to lock in this week.
Near that.
Raiders
So
revenge game. Kenny Pickett revenge game for being traded.
That'll
that's
be
what I'm
crazy.
scared. That's what I'm genuinely scared of. I'm so serious. I'm actually genuinely scared of a revenge game
He
for
might
Kenny.
give them a spark, and
Uh,
Eagles are fading, but that's
but
okay.
I don't know. It's not really. It can't really be a revenge game. He won a Super Bowl with them. It was a happy ending. So usually they don't work with happy endings.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So
Next up, well, Houston looking to make it six straight. They're at home against Arizona. I'll
yeah,
go
Yeah.
Houston.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's
okay, cool. Um, Now the 4 p.m. slate is actually really good. We'll make it quick since we know Blake's got to be places. Packers Broncos in Denver.
ooh.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I will go first because I have my pick already. I'm gonna go Green Bay. This isn't to disrespect Denver. I think Green Bay is a wagon that will get a win though tomorrow. I feel like they're made for a game like this. And if they lose tomorrow, then we'll come on here and we'll do some Packers discussion for sure.
Give me Broncos. Give me Broncos. I think they keep it close. I think Jordan Love is going to get put on his back a few times, and I think that pass rush is going to get to him, and I think that Denver is going to win a close one. Come on, Denver.
Hell of a defensive game. So it's going to come down to which offense is better. Hmm. Give me Denver. Give me Denver. It's in Denver. Like I said, it's going to come down to which offense is better. I think Denver's got a few more weapons on offense. Yeah, give me Denver. Give me
Cool.
Denver.
Um, the Matthew Stafford Bowl, the one that you guys definitely care about the most. The Lions go to LA to face the Rams. The Lions desperately need a win to stay in the playoff picture. I mean, they'll stay regardless on if they win or lose, but they're on the outside looking in. Can the Lions? I don't want to use the word shock the Rams because if they win, I don't know if that's shocking. The Lions are good, but what are your guys' picks for that?
I'm genuinely scared for this game.
Hmm.
Like genuinely very scared for this game. Um,
Oh, sorry.
I think, yeah, I don't know.
This is the
Like,
best the Rams have ever played through a whole season. Even this is better than the Super Bowl year. Like as
I,
a
Yeah.
team, this is
yeah,
better.
I
Yep.
think I'm unfortunately I'm gonna pick the Rams. Um, our secondary has been getting cooked, and we don't have Brian Branch anymore. Devontae Adams, I'm sorry. Devontae Adams is going to
Three of our starters in the secondary are out for the season. Brand's got Achilles. Terrion Arnold just had shoulder surgery today, and they ruled out what's his name with the knee injury for the rest of the season. Our safety, I forgot his name right now. Um,
Come
Robertson?
huh?
on, Kirby Joseph.
Kirby Joseph, yeah. He's out for the season. His knee injury just kept getting worse and worse. He's got a chronic knee issue, so he's not playing for the rest of the season. So it's DJ Reed and company.
We're
Hey,
cooked.
we love that.
They're calling them the Legion of Whom.
We are cooked. We're cooked. And do I have to play against Puka?
That would suck.
Yeah,
Please don't tell me.
we're cooked.
Please don't
That
tell
would
me.
suck.
They got two number one receivers and we have one DB.
Uh, um,
No,
So
no, I don't. I don't. I do have to play against the Rams defense though.
I also hate how the Rams defensive line is so elite and our offensive line is hot garbage.
Oh, I gotta play against Devontae Adams.
oof,
Yeah.
oof.
Ah,
Next up, we got Ooh, this is actually a big game now because of what happened last night. The Carolina Panthers with the chance to take lead of the NFC North or NFC South, Jesus. Playing New Orleans in New Orleans.
I thought they are in first.
Well, they are, but if they lose, then they're still tied with Tampa.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Give me Bryce, Rod Wave banging, and all the speakers.
Yeah. Yeah. I need a big game out of Tet. So give me Carolina. I need a huge game out of Tet.
I am going to go with New Orleans. I hope Carolina wins. New Orleans got a big win last week. And Carolina is not the best team on the road. And I think I'm gonna go with the Saints, and hopefully that saves the Panthers from the open board curse. Um, Next up, we got Jesus. Okay, Titans 49ers. We all got the Niners there. We'll keep that one short. Last 4 p.m. game, we have three more games to predict, and then we're done. Philip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts against the Seattle Seahawks.
Nah,
Man, elder abuse.
give me Seattle here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, give
The
me
last time Sam Darnold played Philip Rivers, it was with the New York Jets. He threw a touchdown and three interceptions, two of them being pick sixes. That's not happening this time. But hey, they have Sauce Gardner, I guess, but he's not even going to play in this game. Give me the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Um, Sunday Night Football, 9 goes to Jerry World.
Nine.
9 goes to Jerry
Nine.
World. Will Dallas make it 7-6-1 and stay in the playoff race and put some pressure on Philly? Or will Minnesota's defense have another crazy game? Because last week they went off.
no, yeah, Dak's gonna do it. They get the bounce back. They had a bad week last week against us, and this week I think he throws for like 3 touchdowns. Pickens is elite. Is CD playing? Because I know he had a concussion.
He's trending towards playing.
Okay, but I still think if CD play, if CD, oh, if CD plays, yes, they win. If CD doesn't play, I'm still taking the Cowboys. I
Okay,
still,
good.
I
I,
take the
I
Cowboys.
was
Taking
making sure.
Dallas. Yeah. Taking Dallas.
Cool. I'm taking Dallas too. I think they bounce back. And the last one, Monday Night Football with some playoff implications, pretty much. The NFC, I keep messing up AFC, NFC today. It's morning, even though it's 2 o'clock. Jesus. Um, the Pittsburgh Steelers host the Miami Dolphins. Miami's hot. Will Miami play shocker, or will Pittsburgh stay on top of the AFC North?
Give me Pittsburgh. Wait, where's this game at?
It's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, give me Pittsburgh.
This is tough. I really don't believe in Tua to any degree. Like, you tell me Tua Tagovailoa is my quarterback, bro, I'll quit the team. I'm so serious. He's not good. I don't know how they've won 4 straight. It's like under the table. The Steelers played the Ravens last week. Was it the Ravens?
The Steelers played the Ravens last week. Yeah.
Give me Miami. Not because of Tua, but give me Miami. I might be tweaker of the week, but give me Miami.
Yeah. No, honestly, dude, I was gonna say Miami too. I think Miami's gonna beat them. It's not anything on Pittsburgh. I just think they're playing good football. And now, especially if TJ Watt's not playing, Miami actually will be able to protect Tua.
Start HN in fantasy. Mark my
Yeah,
word.
exactly. So I'm gonna go with Miami. Um, yeah, we'll do a tracker for these picks for the rest of the season too. Well, Pod, we'll save our tweaker of the week for early next week when we do the playoff because I think,
Well. We already know what tweaker of the week is
yeah,
already.
exactly.
Right?
That's
Yeah,
It
I'm
what
about
I
to
doesn't
was
need to
say.
be said.
I'm about to say.
We
yeah,
know we know we started with them.
yeah,
No, that
exactly. We
We'll
don't
come up
really,
with different ones next week, but
we will come up with
it
different
said
ones
bro was
next week.
grabbing. It said bro was grabbing butter knives.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Well, Pod,
I'll do it.
thank you. Jesus.
I'm
Thank you
sorry.
guys for tuning in, Pod. One more thing from me. Mental health is very important. We love everyone that watches us, and we really, really, really appreciate it. Soon enough, we'll be back together. It's been a crazy few weeks. But yeah, I'm not going to steal away the conclusion from Blake, but we'll be back next week to talk some college football playoff and some NFL, but mostly playoff, at least early in the week. But I'll turn it over to Mr. McQuarrie, who has to get to work to sign us off.
Yeah. Yeah, as always, run it up, run socials up, TikTok, Instagram, Reels, whatever. Keep supporting, share it out to everybody, share it to your mom, your grandma, whoever. And yeah, stay fly.